Entitled in-laws moved into my home without permission while I was away, then tried to bully me out of my home. So I evicted them, took legal action, and dumped my fiancé. I'm a 34-year-old guy, and up until about a month ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I owned my home, a small but comfortable house that I worked my ass off to buy, had a job that paid well and gave me satisfaction, and I was engaged to a woman I thought was going to be my partner for life. Her name is Anna, and we'd been together for 3 years, engaged for 6 months. She seemed perfect in a lot of ways, sweet, smart, and driven, but I should have paid more attention to her family. They were always a lot. Her parents and younger brother acted like the world owed them something, and Anna didn't seem to notice or care. I chalked it up to cultural differences or family dynamics I didn't fully understand. Looking back, that was a mistake. It started a few weeks ago when I had to go out of town for a work conference. 10 days, not a huge deal. Right before I left, Anna asked if her parents could stay at my house temporarily. Apparently, a burst pipe had caused water damage in their house, and they needed somewhere to stay while repairs were being done. I wasn't thrilled about the idea, but Anna assured me it would only be for a couple of days and promised they wouldn't overstep. I agreed but made it very clear. This was my house, and I expected them to treat it with respect and leave as soon as their place was livable again. When I got back, I knew something was off the second I opened the door. The first thing I saw was Anna's younger brother sitting on my couch, surrounded by empty snack bags and soda cans, playing video games on my TV like he lived there. He didn't even look up when I walked in. The kitchen was worse. Anna's mom and dad were cooking something that made the house smell like a greasy diner, and the dining table was covered in their stuff. Papers, laptops, shopping bags, you name it. My house looked like a disaster zone. I walked in, trying to process what I was seeing, and Anna came into the room. She was on her phone, barely acknowledging me. "Hey, you're back," she said, like nothing was wrong. "What the hell is going on here?" I asked. "Why are they still here? You said it'd be a couple of days." She shrugged. "The repairs are taking longer than expected. They just need a bit more time." I didn't buy it, but before I could say anything else, I decided to check the rest of the house. That's when I found out her parents had moved into my bedroom. They'd taken over my room, thrown my things into a closet, and replaced my bedding with theirs. My bed, my sanctuary, was now theirs. I turned around and marched back to Anna. "Why are your parents in my bedroom?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "They needed more space," she said, not even looking up from her phone. "It's not a big deal. It's my bedroom, Anna. This is my house. You didn't even ask me. None of this is okay." She rolled her eyes. "You're overreacting. They're family. It's just for a little while." At that point, I realized I wasn't getting through to her. I didn't want to blow up in front of everyone, so I told her we needed to talk privately. Once we were alone, I told her flat out that this wasn't working. Her family had taken over my house, disrespected my space, and acted like they owned the place. I reminded her that I'd only agreed to a temporary stay, not an indefinite one. She got defensive immediately. "They're going through a hard time. What was I supposed to do? Let them stay on the street?" "This isn't about that," I said. "It's about the way they're treating my house like it's theirs. They didn't even ask to move into my room." "That's not okay. You're being selfish," she shot back. "They're my family. I thought you'd understand." That was the first time I started to really question everything. If Anna couldn't see how wrong this was, how were we supposed to move forward? I told her I was giving her parents 1 week to pack up and leave. She didn't take it well, but I didn't care. This was my home, and I wasn't about to let her family walk all over me. The next day, I told her parents they needed to leave. Her mom acted like I'd just insulted her personally. "We're family now. You can't just kick us out. That's cruel." Her dad wasn't any better. "You do realize this house will be just as much Anna's once you're married, right?" That one hit a nerve. "We're not married yet," I said. "And this house is mine. You're leaving. You have 1 week." Anna tried to fight me on it, calling me heartless and accusing me of not caring about her family. I stood my ground. A week later, they packed up and left, but not without making it clear they thought I was the villain in all of this. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A couple of weeks later, I got served papers. Anna's parents had filed a claim against me, arguing that Anna had a common-law marital claim to the house. They said she'd contributed to the household by helping with groceries and decorations, and therefore she had partial ownership of the property. I couldn't believe it. They were really trying to steal my house. I hired a lawyer and gathered every piece of evidence I could to prove their claim was nonsense. Anna had never contributed financially to the house. Everything was in my name. After weeks of back and forth, the court dismissed the case, but not before I filed a counterclaim for legal fees. I won, and they had to pay me $2,000 in damages. Watching their faces as they handed over that check was satisfying, but I knew they weren't done yet. After the legal battle, I thought Anna's parents would back off, but instead they doubled down. About a week after the court decision, a man showed up at my door claiming to be a contractor. He said he'd been sent by Anna's dad to inspect my house for serious structural issues. I was immediately suspicious. I hadn't hired anyone, and Anna's dad hadn't mentioned anything about this before. I let the guy do his thing, but it became clear he wasn't here to help. He walked around pointing at random cracks and spots in the walls, saying things like, "Yeah, this looks bad, and this could be dangerous if it's not fixed soon." When he left, Anna's dad called me. He acted like he was doing me a favor. "Hey, I heard the inspection didn't go well," he said. "You might want to sell the house before it becomes a money pit. I know a guy who can make you a cash offer." I hung up. I wasn't about to let this guy scam me into selling my house. I called a certified inspector I trusted and had them do a thorough evaluation. The report came back clean, no issues whatsoever. Armed with this proof, I filed a complaint against the so-called contractor Anna's dad had sent. Turns out, he wasn't even licensed, and my complaint got him barred from doing business in the area. That wasn't enough for me, though. I started documenting everything. The bogus inspection, the texts from Anna's dad, the timing of it all. I shared it with a few friends, and word got around fast. Anna's parents started losing what little credibility they had left in their community. People began distancing themselves from them, and I could tell they were scrambling to save face. It was a small victory, but it felt good. The harassment didn't stop there. Anna's younger brother decided to get involved, and his approach was even more pathetic. He created fake accounts online to leave one-star reviews for my workplace, calling me unprofessional and claiming I'd scammed people. He even went as far as to stalk my social media, taking photos and editing them to make me look bad. He'd post these photos on fake profiles, accusing me of all kinds of nonsense. At first, I ignored it, thinking he'd get bored and move on, but then it started affecting my job. Clients were asking questions, and my boss pulled me aside to figure out what was going on. I wasn't about to let this kid ruin my reputation. I gathered screenshots of every fake review, every edited photo, and every post he'd made. I reported everything to the platforms and filed a police report for cyberstalking. It didn't take long for the authorities to connect the accounts to Anna's brother. He was fined and hit with a restraining order, which barred him from contacting me or posting about me again. I heard through the grapevine that he tried to play the victim, claiming I was overreacting, but no one was buying it. By this point, I was fed up. I decided to expose the whole family for what they were. I made a public post detailing everything that had happened since they'd moved into my house. I included screenshots, receipts, and even court documents. I didn't exaggerate or embellish. I just laid out the facts. The post went viral, and the response was overwhelmingly supportive. People were horrified by Anna's family's behavior, and many shared similar stories of dealing with entitled people. Anna's family became a laughingstock, and any sympathy they'd tried to garner evaporated overnight. But I wasn't done. During all of this, I found out that Anna's parents had been stiffing contractors who worked on their house, claiming the work wasn't done properly to avoid paying. It explained why they'd been so desperate to stay at my place. They didn't want to spend a dime of their own money. I anonymously tipped off the contractors and the local housing authority, providing screenshots of their messages and detailing their tactics. Multiple lawsuits followed, and Anna's parents were forced to pay up. Between legal fees, fines, and settlements, they were in serious financial trouble. Through all of this, Anna stayed silent. She didn't try to defend her family, but she didn't stand up to them either. That silence spoke volumes. I realized she wasn't on my side. She never had been. I told her it was over. When I confronted her, she didn't even seem surprised. She just asked, "So that's it? You're throwing everything away?" "No," I said. "You and your family did that. I'm just cleaning up the mess." She moved out a few days later. I haven't heard from her since, and I've blocked her and her family on everything. I'm done. Looking back, I feel a strange mix of relief and anger. I'm relieved to have my life back, but I'm angry at myself for not seeing the red flags sooner. Anna's family thought they could walk all over me, but they underestimated me. I fought back and I won. My house is mine again, and my life is finally peaceful. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: set boundaries and stick to them. People like Anna's family will push and push until you push back. And when you do, they crumble.